Okay. Welcome to Tea Time with Kitty. Giving my viewers another second to get all logged in so we can get started on today's topic. Um, I do want to tell you all apologies for last week. I lost my phone, hey Shamika, and did not get to log on for tea time. I needed my internet services and um, to share, and it just didn't happen. It was a bit much going on. So thank you all for finding in that robbery to join in with me. While I'm waiting for more viewers to join, we're going to talk about a few celebrations. Um, Next Thursday, Nala will be turning the big three. On this Friday, my cousin Latrell will be celebrating her birthday, and my cousin Andre. Um, Other big news, I celebrated 20 years as a homeowner on this past Saturday. I would just say happy birthday to you. Thank you, Trail. This Saturday, my family and friends came out and celebrated with me 20 years of home ownership. It feels good. I didn't even know that I was so young when I purchased my first home and so thankful to still have it. Hey, nah. So definitely want to give a shout out to that. Asking you to continue to keep my cousin. Hey, Nick, thank you. Asking you to continue to keep my cousin and her children in your prayers. The homegoing service for her son will be this weekend. So please keep us in prayer. Give me strength so that I can have strength to give them. So we all know that our graduates, most high school graduates and college graduations, have already took place at this point. So most, I know we still have some daycare graduations that may have not happened yet. But for the most part, if you are in high school or college, hello there, Felicia, and feel free to correct me. You have already had your graduation. So we went to prom. We've had our graduation. We had some of the biggest 22 celebrations, and now it's time for college. So today's topic will be, is your child ready for college? Or if you're the adult, are you ready for college? We like to think that college success, which is today's topic, has a lot to do with grades, has a lot to do with applying yourself, has a lot to do with being organized, sports, fraternities, sororities. But I want to make sure that we know that a very big, important piece of college that we sometimes as African Americans do not focus on is finances. So you can sometimes be one of the smartest people. You can know how to apply yourself and all sorts of different things, but you also need money. Hello to those other ones joining in. So I haven't asked some of those people. Thank you so much, Dr. Samika Greenwood. I have some people on here that's going to share information with parents, right? Some of those who have already been through the college experience. And I want them to talk about some of the unexpected experiences that came with finances around in college. So we all know you can be as smart as you want to be, but do know that there are some folks who aggressively start saving for their children's college education. Hey, niece, early on, right? And sometimes, not all, but a lot of times, African Americans tend to purchase things over education. So sometimes you may see kids with some of the latest Jordans, all types of hairstyle, all type of expensive clothing, but a lot of those kids may not have savings for college education, right? And we all know that everyone doesn't go to college, but we just want to make sure parents hear this and understand this, that if your child wants to go to college, there's some things that you have to prepare for, right? And I feel that finances is one. I know that when Pookie went away to college, he went away to college in Maryland, right? So we were Maryland residents, and he went away to college in Maryland. And for him to go to Coppin, it wasn't really expensive. So aside from the financial aid and all those types of things, it was very little expenses that had to be left with myself and with his dad, right? As opposed to when Yanni went away to college, with the different scholarships that she got for being smart. And of course, we wasn't in DC, because that's what we're going to talk about, a lot of the DC benefits. Um, we were not allotted, right? So just so happened that God is so good, right? That I happened to have fixed my credit about a year or two before she went to school, not knowing that it needs to be fixed, because I had no idea that you would have to do a parent plus loan, right? So, and if your parent credit is not where it needs to be, it could really affect a student from being able to go to college, right? So that's the one thing I want to put out there to parents. If you want to be of any financial support to your child in their college experience, and for whatever reason you may have not been able to save up that amount of money to get them where they need to be in college, at least try to fix your credit to be of some assistance. Now, I'm definitely not saying going broke, but some of us as parents know we've done a lot of different things that would have gotten us broke. So why not invest in our children? So let's just see what we have so much. Finance is a huge piece both before and after going to college. College funding has decreased, and now most of the responsibility falls on the parent. So that's from someone who not only graduated from college, but also went on to graduate and is now a doctor, right? And she's still young, right? So, and I have some other folks on the line, and please chime in whenever you're ready. Also, if they don't qualify for the Parent Plus loan, you can repeat the financial aid letter for more money. So, I mean, appeal. Okay. And that is very helpful, Rachanique. I did not know that. That's very important information. So, Tamika said, that it is a lot of responsibility, and Reginica is saying that if you don't qualify for the Parent Plus loan, it's very important to try to appeal it to see if you can get more money, right? Scholarships are very important. Okay, so I was talking to my sister. I'm not sure if she had joined on yet, but she was talking to me about the tag program, right? And if anyone's familiar with the DC area, you may be familiar with the tag program, and you may be able to help me out a little bit more with that, right? But it's supposed to be money that's allotted for children in DC to go away to school. But when I heard that, when you go to a lot of these charter schools, I'm not sure if DC public schools do it, but I know that when your child graduates from charter school, they bring all this money up and make it look real good. They could pile it all together and say this school is getting this amount of money. These kids are awarded this amount of money, come on internet, for school, thank you Jesus, and it really looks good, but how much of that is really available when it's really 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 time to go to school? So I know that we have already heard from Rajanique and Mika, and I know that you all could chime in as much as you want. So now I want to hear from Dayon and Quanika. What are some things that you would tell a parent to prepare for who child is going to college? Okay, so Nika's coming in now. I applied to 2 scholarships a week, for months. Hold on. I applied to 2 scholarships a week for months my senior year. I only got one. Okay, so you applied for 2 scholarships and you only was able to get one. So when you say you were only able to get one, what type of planning or changes did you have to make in order to make things still work out, right? Schools offer payment plans, but again, budgeting and preparing is important. Okay, so when you talk about payment plan, right? So Yanni graduated from Hampton in 2016, and her tuition was about 32,000 a year. So I guess that's about what was it about? Was it about 18 or 19 every semester? I think that's what it is. I'm saying that correctly. So, really, with that type of money, can you really even do a payment plan? Like, because I mean, you're talking about for someone who haven't been able to save for whatever reason, that's a huge payment plan. I know we did one with Coppin, and that was only $500 a month, right? So is that a realistic payment plan to be paying 32,000 back? And I don't know how Hampton did it because we didn't do a payment plan, but I know with Compton, you still had to have a time frame that you paid it back. So it just say if it's in a year or 9 months, is that a reasonable amount of money to come up with? Well, Mom, I would say make sure they have everything they need before headed to college, like books. And if you're going out of state, make sure you have flight coming and going. That's very important, Shamika. Thank you for that input. When you're selecting a location to go away to college, make sure it's feasible and in a budget to be able to get back home. You can't use DC cap. Okay, you can't use DC cap, I believe, if you're going to a private school. You can only use DC tag. Okay, so there's two different ones. Okay, so DC cap, you have you cannot use if you're going to a private school. So with DC cap, Nick, are you saying basically with DC cap they have to go to, like, if not UDC, what would be like another school in our area that would take DC cap? Like, so, and what is a private school? Like, how would a parent know if something's a private school as opposed to it's another name. I can't get the name out, but there's something else they call it if it's not a private college. I think it's a local or state college. I think it is. If you all can help me out with that. But what does that look like for a parent? Any public school, state school. Okay, so any public school. So any school that you can go to and attend, but you just have to make sure that it's not a private school. So if you can't use DC cap for private schools, and I heard, and you all can help me out with this if you're familiar with that. I heard that DC bases the amount of money that kids get off of UDC tuition, and UDC tuition is rather reasonable. So is that very advantageous for a family if they use if they go according to the UDC tuition scale? What is your take on that? And again, we're talking about college success. And we're talking about how we utilize so much money and resources on things like graduation, on things like prom, on things like cookouts and celebrations. But are we really focusing on the most important goal from graduation if your child desire, and that is to finish college and not be not able to finish because of finances, right? So not being able to finish based on finances. Is there anyone else that have anything else that they would like to put out that parents need to, because like I said, from my experience, the number one thing that I would say, and that is most important to me, parents, try to get your credit right. Okay. Let's see. My advice, your goal shouldn't be to get the biggest refund. If financial aid is giving you a loan, only take what you need because you do have to pay it back. So that's very important because people have used it, went on trips, they have bought cars, they have done so many different things, right? But then they don't have that money when it's time to pay it back, right? Okay. You can get DC tag for private schools, 2,500, just not as much for public schools, up to $10,000, right? So, Michelle, with that being said, do you feel like the money that DC tag or DC cap gives you, is that enough for college education? Like, have you been able to maneuver around with that? While I'm waiting for some others to respond, let me do say this. I received something while we're talking about college from the Department of Education, and it's stating that if you're in certain jobs, like I have my loan set up for loan forgiveness, and if you pay on time for 10 years, you can have your loan forgiven, right? But also, they're trying to do something now where, how a lot of payments have been suspended due to COVID. So they're still trying to have you complete a form. So if there's anyone that's working in the public sector, please submit that form. It should have came to you in your email. If not, reach out to me and I'll send you the email that I have so that you can try to see how you can get your loan forgiven prior to the 10 years being up. Okay. My advice for parents, very new parents, start a college fund through your state and it's not taxed. Okay, that's very important. That sounds like really, really, really good information. So, and parents, let me tell you this. Don't get caught up with it. Not if you can't do $100 every 2 weeks. If you can do $10 a pay period, and most of the time our lunch costs $10 for one day, right? If you eat out, if you can do $10 a pay period, and most of us is paid bi-weekly, that's $5 a week. Do a little something, because sometimes we say, well, I'm not in a position to give 100, but if you get started and you get disciplined and setting that money aside, you can always increase it as time go on. Okay. Um, if your child drop out, they will have 12 months before repayment with the loan. So if they drop out of college and they have 12 months for repayment, and I think that once you graduate, you have 6 months to start repaying. You should make sure that your stuff is right individually first. Don't spend so big on things and just make sure that as the years pass, they want to go back and be rounded and prepared. So I heard someone share that with me today that maybe a community college may be what works best for a child for the first, second year, just to see if they are really dedicated to doing that, because it's very, very, very expensive to be going to college if you're just going because, hey, my parents said go, just because I thought it would be fun. This is big money, right? And with college savings plan, you can ask people to contribute for children's birthday instead of gifts or gift cards. And I definitely like that, right? I definitely like that, so that instead of them bringing this stuff that kids have more than enough of, they can contribute directly to that. Because if I know someone else has that, I would definitely love to give them 25 or $50 every birthday towards it. So that is really good information. Yes, education saving plans are available for every state. Start one as early as possible for your children. So where do they start it at? Can they do it at like any credit union? Is it something that's done do their employer? Where is that started? If possible, borrow as less as possible. Okay, so if you can try to get as less money as possible, then, and because I know when I was in UDC, when I was in school, I used to get them free fund checks and you couldn't tell me nothing. It was time to go shopping. But like you said, just like with a credit card, you will have to go back and pay it. Federal loans are better than private. Most protections, such as bad economy, no payments, and zero interest, happens now. Private loan wants their money. So, Mika, talk about that with the private loan. Where do you normally get the private loans from? I know that you say that. I know the federal loans, I'm thinking they come from, they're protected through like Sally Man, things of that nature. So would a private one be from a credit union or something of such? If you could just share that. The children waste a lot of money in funding like meal plans. And if you have health insurance, you have to use your own insurance and to have them take that 15. We definitely took that $1,500 off, because at first they was telling me that they didn't have a Kaiser down there where Yanni was at in Hampton, and they didn't want to remove it. So we had to go through some things, but they did remove that. Also, meal plans can be controlled. So that's really good information. I did not know that. How can a meal plan be controlled? Because this is some good information for parents, because I know that when I went to college, I had already had my children, and so I was kind of like figuring things out on my own, and I was able to do it. But I was home, and it was a little different. But I know that when it was time for y'all to go, I leaned on my little sister a lot, and she really got us going with knowing what to do and what direction to go in. It's through the state. Google education savings and your state. There are state website. I am going to look. I am going to get Yari and Nala one right away. I had no idea that's how that worked. Okay. I do have a question about the savings plan. Now, if a child decides that I don't want to go to college, but I want to go to hair school, can that money be used for them to go if they want to start a business, or is it only for college? If anyone would happen to know the answer to that. Very true, Mika. Private loans will default you for one missing pay. Wow. And to my understanding, student loans is not something to be in default with on your credit report, right? So I had a small mishap with mine. Didn't get bad and out of control, but I've heard people that really had issues with theirs, and they said that is not a good place to be in. I want to go to college, but out of state. Okay, great. Instead of 3 meals a day, which you pay 2,700 for, narrow it down to 2 meals, which would be 1,000. Wow. Okay, they right. Okay, so that is really good information. So by dropping it down to 2 meals instead of three could save you $1,000. That's teaching right there. That's great. Yes, it's their money. They can use it on whatever. However, if not used on education, it will be taxed. Okay. Great point. Thank you very much for that, Neek. Meal plans can only be controlled after your freshman year, depending on the college you go to. Okay, so a lot of times they can only be controlled at the, because I know like when you're a freshman, they want a lot of things done by the book. Like you don't supposed to have a car, you don't this, you don't that. But that's really good information. So parents. If you want, and I know every parent can't be, like, but like I told my son and my daughter, I wouldn't care if I had to leave my DC government job and go work at Burger King in the evening and Kentucky Fried Chicken on a Saturday. If you all do what you're supposed to do and get the grades, I'm going to make sure the tuition is paid for, right? But that may not be everybody taking. It doesn't make you a bad parent or not that parent. It may be more, kids in the equation. Pookie and Yanni both was in college at different times. So imagine if for parents who have several at that time. But I was just committed because education was everything to me, right? But on the flip side, if you're not that parent and you're not able to do that, then there's definitely other things. So let's say right now, when your child is 3, they don't need a whole Gucci outfit for their birthday at 3, right? I don't care if the Kardashian kids got it on. Your child does not need to have on a Gucci outfit for their 3rd birthday if you don't have an education plan for them. Even if it's not college, if you can't even, if they get a plumbing license, if you can't even buy them a plunge, when it's time for them to do that, then you may need to revisit your finances and how you're handling it with college education, right? Because it's very important. I know my daughter told me some of the smartest kids started out the semester with her freshman year, and they were not able to stay because of their parents' credit. So, we're ringing them on, get good grades, do well, get good grades, do well. And then when they good grades and they sweet, they nice, they detailed, they're responsible, and now they found out that mommy or daddy is not that responsible. So after they have struggled with making me responsible for these past 12 years of school, I can't even go to college, right? Now, if anyone can help me out with this, because like I said, when I went to college, I'm not sure it's because I was a little older, because I wasn't like old, I probably was early 20s. I was able to do my loans on my own. But when it was time for Yanni to go, it had to be Parent Plus, right? With Pookie, we didn't need it at all. His financial aid and the payment plan covered it. But with Yanni, you had to do a Parent Plus loan. When did that change? Or can a child apply for their own loan? Like, what has happened with that? Because I know different children. I know, like when Yanni, when she was 17, some of the kids went with her was 17. Was that the reason that they couldn't do their own loan? Was it that you had to be 18? Or do anybody have any answers? My other piece of advice is show your kids how to survive. Like looking for where they offer free meal, free food, or other free resources on campus. That is, man, I'm telling you, my college little divas, that clique right there, I am forever proud, right? Because if like when me and my kids when they were growing up, the 2 sets of twins, we went to, matter of fact, we're going to one with Radiance next month. We went to every vacational Bible school that we were invited to. Because if you go to vacational Bible study school, you get dinner, right? So we got free dinner all the time. And during the summer, we always went to church's activity because we got grilled hot dogs and hamburgers, chips, juice, and a word, right? So that is really good. Utilize your resources. I know colleges truly support churches truly support college children with helping them to get transportation to like the local Walmarts and things of that nature. So that is very, very important. It's not always about money, it's always about also about resources. Everyone needs to get acquainted with someone in financial aid office and account services. Get to know the people that's handling your money. Very important. Ask questions, ask questions, because that piece about taking the insurance off is very, very, very important. Make sure you communicate with them daily. This is how money gets misspent and mishandled. And also, I'm not sure if they still do it during COVID, but they used to have opportunities where your financial aid could allow you to get a job and you could do like a work study. If you're doing a work study, you can be eligible for food stamps with that work study job, right? You could also be able in that state to get food stamps, and that should be able to help you out because unfortunately, if you are in college, that's not enough. If you're sitting at home and you are, bum, not a nice word, but another word nicer than bum, you can get food stamps. But if you're a college student, there's additional requirements, and that work study could get you your food stamps. Okay. You only need a Parent Plus loan if you need to cover the rest of the tuition you've maxed out on the other loans. Loans through FAFSA will be in the student's name. Okay, great. Okay. No, you have to be classified as an independent to get the loan on your own. I believe, and most students really can't get it because they haven't built credit. Oh, wow. So, okay. So if you're a little older, okay. So maybe being a little different. Okay. Very good information. Is there anyone else, right? Because we want to make sure even the parents that go back and revisit this, and I can let them know, hey, we had a topic, here's some things we talked about that may want to help you, prepare. And this is really good information for anyone, because aside from, you may say, well, my kid's grown, I don't have to worry about it. But if you're an active aunt, an active grandparent, you may want to know this information so you can be an active godparent. Hey, I just want to start opening an account. I don't have much, but I want to give my grandkids $10 every 2 weeks. If your grandchild is a year old and you give them $10 every 2 weeks, which is about 20 a month. I think it's about $220 a year. Over 10 years, that's over 20,000, and get it with a good interest rate. And then easily you should be close to $20,000 by their 18th birthday, right? And show kids how to budget. I love it. Show kids how to budget. That's so important, right? Show them how to budget, because I know that when Pookie went away, I gave him his bank card, got him set up, and I would get his statements in the mail, and his double cheeseburgers from McDonald's would be $37. And I think a double cheeseburger back then was like $1, but he ain't have $1 in his account, right? So that means that they charged him a $35 overdraft fee for McDonald's cheeseburgers. So his cheeseburgers on a regular would be $37. And I told him, of course, we had to remove that off of his card. But hey, $37 for a McDonald's cheeseburger is a lot of money. So budgeting is important. Layla was able to get a loan on her own. Wow. She was able to get it on her loan. So you have to share, like, in case someone else may need that information. Calvin is going to pay her remaining balance of $3,700. That's that Taurus. Great job, niece. Great job. Teach children time management. Right. Definitely teach them time management, right? Because you have to be there on time when those classes start, right? You have to be there and on time when those classes start. Time management is so important, so important. I didn't learn time management until my sister Flood and Karen would tell my sisters Fleur and Kern would tell me how I had to come to work and be on time. Like, not only would I be late, but I would get extra mad with one of them supervisors. They said something to me for being late, right? So time management, teach your children these good qualities, because a lot of times that's where bad attitudes come from. Being extra mad, and being extra mad about things, and you can't receive information. So that's very important. Teach them discipline is key, and procrastination is literally an expense. Procrastination is an expense. If you don't pay your Pepco bill, water bill on time, it will be $3 to $5 additional dollars. When you add that up over a year, it will be over $100 easy. Pay your bills, be responsible. Also get a job as a receptionist or somewhere that you can do your schoolwork. Go ahead, Ray J. When you get the job as a what is that job Janika used to have? Oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it. Maybe Yanni will come back and tell you, but I want to say it's it begin with a C. What is that where you can sit at a desk like security or concierge? Concierge. Sit at that concierge desk or watch them security monitors and get your work done. That is very, very important. Now, if you show your vaccination card, they give you $500. I don't know if it has ended, but it was worth inquiring. So show them a vaccination cards and see if you can get that $500. My statement earlier about the kids not having credit was about the parent plus. Okay, so they only need the credit if they're trying to do the. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you, Neat. Teach them that a soft life is delusional. Okay, you do actually have to do some work to have a life that is worthwhile. She was 18 when she applied. It's a federal student loan. Excellent. Okay. So and maybe that's probably why Yanni could, because Yanni was 17 because she has a late birthday. So I'm glad to know that at 18 they can do it on their own and in their name. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, so Yanni got the concierge and yes to Raja and Yanni. Okay, so anything else? This is really good information, right? So I am going to definitely get my because I already have savings account for them, but I'm going to do the college one for them, and I'm gonna get on that right away. So give me 30 days, and I should be able to give you all an update that they will now have a savings account, life insurance, and a college fund. And I am able to do that. I ain't got that big money to be giving them no fat lump sums in it, but I'm going to be responsible for that, and I'm going to make sure I keep up with that. Yes, I was an overnight concierge for some time, and I was able to study and do homework. And when I was in college, I worked in a group homes and I worked the night shift. So I would get my work done, and then I would take naps, and then I was able to come home and be ready for my kids to get them out the door so I could get my real good sleep and be there when they got home. So yes, that is very, very important. Oh my gosh, you all gave more than enough information, more than enough information for all those children going to college, young adults, for all those parents that's in their corner, aunts, uncles, cousin, godparents, family, friends, grandparents, church family, because my church family was very involved in the college process. I just want to say I am wishing you all the best. You all have my well wishes. Know that you can do anything that you set out to do. I do know that a lot of times children, when they have parents that kind of do everything for them, it kind of makes them a little bit lax. When you have ones that make you a little bit more responsible, it's definitely great energy. You're able to take on more and you tend to be successful and grounded all around. I was one of those kids that was just pushed out into it with nothing, had to figure it all out on my own. I think that I kind of like sheltered my kids a little bit, but still gave them a boundary. But I do see in areas that I shelter them. But like I said, I will continue to have their back. Let me guess, all this great info is for females. Where are the males' input? You have all boys. Well, this is just college information. I thought Pookie would have been on here to share his insight with college. I also told Carlton to jump on, but Trail, we're gonna do a male mentor. I'm gonna have him on here leading the way with giving some information and insight. But the college experience is male or female, but we definitely gonna get that for you. Happy birthday to you again. We'll be celebrating your special day on this Friday. My sister told me to get a whole life policy when kids are young because it accrues money that can be used for college. That's how you. So Nala has that. I haven't done one for Yara yet, but I did her insurance policy, and Nala's it has a savings plan attached to her. So I do need to look at that. I'm glad that you said that, so that I can look into that for Yara as well. I didn't know about that when my kids were young, and see, and that's why we sister. That's why we are here, right? We got the information. We're gonna get the information because let me tell you something. African American lives matter. Like we got to take care of each other. You know, I don't have anything against any other race, but I watch how Hispanics, how Ethiopians, you know, I watch how they take care of each other, right? And then, you know, like even down to Caucasians, like people are taking care of each other. Great, Yanni, but mine would just be extra. But they're taking care of each other. You want your grandchild before we go to Great with Vlog? How am I gonna get her before you? Gotta leave it. I can't leave until the next day because of the funeral. So how am I gonna get her before you? College was cool, but Trail want more insight, Pookie. She want more experience. I told him about your $37 cheeseburgers, right? How you will overdraft your cheeseburgers. You leaving today? Hold on, let me see. You want your grandchild before you go to Great with Vlog? Oh, she don't have school tomorrow. Something you trying to bring her today? Hold on, did you text me? I don't know what you talking about, Pookie. Text my phone. You ain't text taking me off my time. We gotta get ready rapid. You sit still so that you get her today. Um, not daycare, baby. Right. So I hope this information helps you out. If there's anybody that needs any additional information that was not covered here today for your child going to college or preparing, I am always available. If I don't have the answer, like I tell my staff at work, I will get the answer for you, bring it back to you because I want to make sure anybody like that I can touch and make any sort of impact on, I am willing to do it. No matter how busy I look, I will make time and I will make effort. So, as always, thank you all so much for sipping with a sister. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your experiences. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. If there's anyone that have any other topics someone reached out to me today about wanting to share a topic, feel free to reach out to me so that we can get you on the show to share your topic. Because everything that each of us has to say is important because we're important. Okay. So love you and see you next week. Thank you.